Partridge. Instant best friends. So all next door to me, when I was a kid growing up, there was just total jam sessions constantly.
So you just
they go,
really-
Terry, go get your snare drum and your hi-hat. And Gene would let me bring anything more. He'd make me get creative on a snare drum.
And then you started in
I'm a
drums.
little kid. Yeah, it was pretty fun. So I'm just saying, it's weird how NEPA became a lot less musical than it used to be, it seems. Now, I don't know what to blame it on. I'm not sure, the DUI situation or MTV.
Oh, it was every night.
I just think it's just a
I gotta say,
it was a generational thing, like back, music from the 50s to the 70s, late 70s,
it was such good tunes.
Statistically, all those things were happening, and it can't happen like that all the time. Like when you're born in that time, you think that this is how it always was and it's always going to be, but no, that was a special time.
Yeah,
that kind of thing is not going to happen forever, and it's just not going to be
And it
there.
wasn't just that you guys made such a nice place for us to go. It's just like our family. I mean, you go see the Great Roxbury, you go see Side Street.
Yeah, you knew everybody.
You go to see you knew everybody.
Right.
And how about the after hours bars back then, man? Where we go to Stalkers, the Lesbians, the Jay's Place. I'll tell you a funny. Remember Jay's Place? Jack Smith was a professional boxer, right? Well, I'm 10 and
big boy.
I'm 17, right? And I'll never forget. I was 17 years oold, and I get out of Cooks, and I live in the back mountains, so like you. So I go out of Cooks. Next thing you know, I look up. There's Jack. He picked me up, bike off, out the door, back to that old crappy White House next door. That was Friday. Saturday night, I'm back in. Jack Jones would get me, throw me out again, and then I'd say 30 times, at least half a dozen times. I mean, a guy like that, grabs a hold of you. I'm 125
Yeah,
pounds.
he was a big boy.
Next time he tapped me on the shoulder, go, oh no, this time I'm dead. He put his arm around me, bought me a beer, and he says, well, apparently I can't keep you out of here. You might as well stay.
And they used to have rockin' loud bands there. Remember that, Jay? You could hear it all the way across the lake.
Oh man, Jay's place was.
About the heck, I just forgot his name already. He was right across from the Juvenile Detention Center on North River Street. He'd open at 2 a.m.
That place.
Up.
Yeah.
Starts with a J or something.
And the guy's name was like Cheech or something that owned it.
I remember.
Cheech.
What's the name? I can't remember. I'm getting older. I forget.
And it's gone.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I remember it. I used to go
But
there.
yeah, that was the 2:30 a.m.
It was really just a house.
Knock on the door.
Right.
It was a house with a bar stuck in it.
But back then it was like now
okay,
with
come on,
the
man.
laws and everything.
Yeah.
It's like you can't do that anymore.
Django's.
And then there was where else? Where else? Well, there were a couple other places we used to go. What was the one in Wilkes-Barre?
Well, one of the best late night places for me was the Hearthstone.
Oh, the Hearthstone.
They'd kick everybody else out and they'd let the band hang out all night.
Well, I just
We'd
told
hang
you
out with
that
Charlie
story.
Dugan, yeah. Charlie.
We just lost
Charlie Dugan, our
We
good friend, just
lost
passed
our
away.
dear
Just passed
friend.
away.
But the Hearthstone was my favorite. That
Oh,
folks
man,
were
it
my
was
favorite.
fun.
But I'll tell you this story. I think I just told you before. I said when I was, I didn't look older. My guys were all older, and I was 17 since I was going in there. And I remember when I was 21, I showed Dick Cheney and Ron Post. I said, "Hey, Dick, you don't have to worry anymore. I'm doing it." And he said, "Hey, Ronnie." They put me up against the wall. Charlie Dugan's laughing his ass off. He has me by the neck, choking me. You've been coming in here all these years. I said, I thought you knew.
It's underage.
Yeah.
I thought you knew.
Oh, yeah. Charlie. And
We used to have that same thing with our roadies. When we first started out, most of our roadies were not 21. But they were partying dudes. They party. So, it'd be always like Tommy Greco was funny because he'd always be concerned. He'd go, "No, your roadies aren't going to drink, right?" Oh, yeah, sure. No way. Spanky, Rich? No way.
Man,
Do you know our roadie, Spanky? That's a guy that he should be in the Hall of Fame of roadies of all time. He's my cousin, Frank Cummings, Spanky, we call him.
oh, Frank.
Oh, my God. You want to talk about stories.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
He's got to be the craziest dude I ever knew. Let me put it to this. I'll say it quick. Like, we used to jam at Tom Greco's Market Street Square. Right. We'd play in one room, and this other band, he'd always team us up because I don't know why. They were an AC/DC tribute from up in Boston. They're called Back in Black. We became good buddies because we were always hanging out. And they had a roadie, supposed to be the nuttiest roadie on the planet, named Rad, short for Radical. I go, "Oh, yeah? You think you got the nuttiest roadie on the planet?" I go, "Wait till he hangs around Spanky for a night." By the end of the night, Rad was following Spanky around like a puppy. Like, where are we going, Spanky? What are you doing now? It was like amazing.
When you just mentioned that that tribute band, Jimmy Lucas is playing, I think, tonight.
Yeah. Oh, really?
With the tribute band, AC/DC.
Oh, is he with them? Is he with Forrest?
Jimmy's playing with
Forrest.
Blew Me Away.
Forrest band. What do they call it? Halfway to Hell.
Halfway to Hell.
Halfway to Hell. Forrest is killing it, man.
And Jimmy's one of the best human beings. I love
Jim's
him. And
hilarious.
And his wife. And,
oh, man.
Oh, they're such good people.
He's a good dude. He did our taxes once, Strawberry Jam's taxes, like in '89 or something for us one year.
And he's really talented. He was good. He was good at that. But when we're talking about like Gino, Mr. G, he was the best. We've got a picture. You got to put that picture on, Jody. I mean, Big Gene was. He played pro basketball for the Boston Celtics. Gino Gorilla, was with the band. And Bill Russell, I saw him on a sports show say he was the best big man ever to come off the bench.
Oh, yeah?
Ever.
I didn't even know he played basketball.
You kidding me? He played for the Boston Celtics back with all the big boys. Yeah.
Shows you what I knew. I didn't know
met
that.
him.
I didn't even know.
We played the bar leagues in the 70s after my college career was over and his Celtics days were over. But my father wakes me up in the morning, hey, hot dog, guess what? You're going to play against the Boston Celtics. I said, yeah, right, okay. So I go down to, I think it was the American Legion gym next to Genetti's, right? I go in, I see this snarling 6'8" guy.
Big as a house.
And he's snarling with the referees. The game didn't even start and he's already telling them, no.
Don't tell me this guy was bigger than you.
Oh, yeah.
That was the amazing part.
Oh, yeah.
And the whole thing with this, with this Gene Guerrilla thing, he was a gentle giant.
He was a perfect gentleman. Good to us younger kids.
If you were full of crap, you're going to get it squeezed out of you. You know what I mean?
How about the story about Jungle
Well, wait,
Jim?
I don't want to move on from this because Jody, okay, all these years, Jody himself, I don't know if you remember this. Strawberry Jam was brand new. We just started playing out. We were up Gallagher's. We had a nice crowd. And you walked up to our sound man and you go, I'm going to use a bad word. He goes, Jody says to our sound man, he goes, this band's going nowhere if you don't turn it the fuck up. That's the first night we ever met Jody. That's the first night. And then Jody's huge, so all the other musicians in the area are like, Jody Bush. So we'd be like, we never told you this, Jody. Like I'd see like one of those water towers and somebody go, hey, that's Jody Bush's flashlight. That's Jody, I'm serious. Like the first time I ever saw it was when Johnny Gonska, we were playing with the Rock Scare up at CC's. Remember CC's?
He used to wear that fringe thing. I remember
my hippie vest.
Hippie
vest, baby.
I remember that, man.
And there's this, we're in the kitchen, like between gigs or between sets or something. And John Gonska, there's this big plexiglass round bowl. It's like a hemisphere. And it's sitting upside down on a table. Like, I don't know if they mix salad in it. Huge. It's like this big clear plastic. And Johnny Gonska picks it up and he goes, now I know Jody Bush by probably 4 or 5 years by that time. John Gonska picks up this big plastic bowl. He goes, what's this? Jody Bush's contact lens? So I go, oh my God, John, are you kidding? So that's it. Once Johnny Gonska started that,
imagine Mr. G and Jody. These guys are 6'6", 6'7", 6'8".
Yeah.
And I'm this little guy, and they were so nice to me. I'd lean up against them, and I'd come up to here.
Well, Gonska told me, he goes, now tell me how you like my John Gonska, because I do a good John Gonska.
Okay, I get the scoreboard out right now.
Yeah, you see like the Jody Bush's contact lens thing. He goes to me, he goes, well, did you ever notice when you see those guys play? And he goes, Mike Speranza, he's a big guy. He's 6'2", 6'3". Standing next to Jody, he looks like a little freaking kid.
And all the best people, too.
Well, we still do that, I think we did it a couple days ago. We see something like a huge, big beer bottle, like
it's Jody Bush.
Prop. Yeah, we go, that's
I
nice.
appreciate the compliment, and I'll accept that.
Everything's yours. That's huge. We see it's funny. It really is.
I really do.
Jody's been going for like 30 years now.
Well, that's okay. I hope I can get going for another 10 years.
I remember one time Johnny Gonska was he lived right down the road from the Strawberry Jam band house. So he'd hear us practice. He'd come up and hang out. And then one day he's talking about, remember Jim Hakem from the Back Doors? Yeah. And Jim was recording in his studio.
Just did his interview here twice.
Just did it.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Mr.
Playgirl.
Let me interject for a second. By the way, this is Jody Bush's Community House YouTube channel, Tear.
Yeah.
Check it. Oh, I'll tell you what.
I will.
Yeah, and what do you call it was on it too. I had Jerry Kishbach come back, just one-on-one. They actually went to grade school and high school together.
So you saw Jerry Kishbach recently?
I brought him up.
Yeah,
Dude,
Tom.
I haven't seen these guys in decades.
Yeah,
Catch
Tom
catch the
Slick.
interviews. Johnny caught it. That's why I say, again, that's why I'm trying to do this. Just put anybody together that just wants to come up and have a good time. maybe
Especially
play
the
a couple
musicians
tunes.
and the people that
Remember the
like
stories?
Yeah, that just live that life.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't even explain it. I try to talk about the Hearthstone. I can't even explain it to people what kind of fun that was. There was no
Yeah.
bar like it, you know. Where you go to Cook's and there's 5 bars in the place. There's 3 bartenders, 1 bouncer, and like 1,000 people, man.
Right.
And
Yeah,
like,
it
you know,
was like that when I grew up in Cleveland. It was like it was
Big clubs.
and it was big clubs like that, and you had local bands like the Raspberries, the
Yeah.
James Gang. You know, like they weren't even
James
they
Gang,
didn't
Joe
even make
Walsh
it
is
yet.
right from there,
Yeah,
right?
Damnation of Adam Blessing. They were like, it's like, you know, these guys were going to go on to be like huge, you know, and
Yeah.
and so there's a lot of competition. So, but there was plenty of places for everybody though.
Cleveland became a fun town too.
Yeah,
man.
it
The
became
flats were a
fun.
blast.
I guess that's why they put the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame there, because it just was a dump off place for like, it was a place for like that you could test music out. It's right there in the Midwest, sort of East, but you could test music out. Like, so Rush became
Yeah, even
popular
Rush, yeah.
because of Cleveland. You know,
Right.
they would play it on the radio.
Is Lakeside Park in Cleveland?
No, that is
it?
actually on the other side of the lake.
Oh,
in
is it?
Canada, yeah. Yeah. A lot of people think it's there, but it's on the
Yeah,
other
I
side.
thought it was. I thought it was Lakeside.
It's Lake
Park.
Erie. It's like, but yeah, they
Putin
always
Bay
were
has
good
got to
for
be
that.
one of the most fun places I've ever seen. Somebody says, "Have you ever seen that many women?" I said, "Never that many having a good time." Like the
Right
only you can
there,
get there is
right.
by boat.
Right.
And the first time I went there, I started in Lake St. Clair in Michigan with
Yeah.
my manufacturing and what I do for a living. And we took these fountains, not being a boater, you'd think it'd take 2 weeks to go from there to there. 2 hours.
Yeah, and they-
100 miles an hour on
Yeah.
these fountain boats. Every year after, I took the ferry over from Sandusky, man, and these guys didn't even know how to drive boats. We're going 100 miles.
Yeah.
You let go, you were off. And then we pull up to Putin Bay, and you're racked off. We're like 5 off.
Yeah.
And I'll keep it G-rated. All the things you see.
And for years, that was like they had the
You know Pat
the
Daly?
largest. Yeah, Pat Daly.
Pat
It was
Daly's
the
a
largest
friend of ours.
bar in the United States. It's just a huge bar. You know, it's this big square thing. It's outside, and but everybody played there. At one time or another.
Well, Pat Daly played on our boat, our private boat. Pat was terrific, and then he'd go to
Right.
Key West, and I lived there, and he played down there. And Pat was always fun.
I played for this band called Mr. Stress Blues Band. Tons of guitar players, like famous ones, played with this guy. And I tried out for him one time and didn't make it. I don't know why, I just didn't make it. But finally he hired me. And this guy, it's really funny. He played this bar. It was called the Euclid Tavern. And they had filmed the movie The Light of Day with Michael J. Fox and Joan Jett. They filmed this movie there, so all these people were coming there to see this film set. Well, he lived there, and then he played there every Saturday. And he thought they were coming to see him, you know. That's what we always said. But, they were coming to see the place, and and if you were in the band, like it just became so popular. It became, even Chrissy Hines said it was like, oh, this is my favorite Cleveland band, It's but it was,
You know what it was like, Jen? It's like the Stingray used to have on those Monday nights a long time ago here, where every musician in the area would show up and jam with Stingray all night.
right. And you didn't play with him every gig, and you didn't want to because you weren't making any money with him. He was making all the money. But you did it just to, so that you got your name out there. Because if you played with that band, then it was so easy to get with anyone in the area. Oh yeah, I play with Stress. Okay, then it was a lot easier to get an audition. Fun times, yeah, fun.
Oh,
Yeah, I
could go
remember
on.
the old times, but I was too young, I would go to this place, it was a high school called Chanel High School. It was in south of Cleveland, which is like a suburb, like Maple Heights. And I would go, and buddies, and we used to look through the basement, because they had a big auditorium like in the basement of the school, and bands would play, and we'd go and watch through the window. And that's where I first saw Joe Walsh playing with the James Gang. Yeah, I mean, just bizarre.
spying on him.
Yeah, and I saw the Raspberries. Like I think when I was like 13, they would play a club that would open up on a Sunday, and you would let kids in, no alcohol, you know. And I saw the Raspberries play. So that was a fun place to grow up. Yeah, but I love it here in northeastern Pennsylvania. It's just,
Well,
it took
the
a while to
food,
get
right,
used
John?
to. Yeah, the food,
The Polish
pierogies,
food. Butter and onions.
Blushki.
and yeah, it took me a while to get to, like, I remember when I first moved here, and I was at somewhere we were playing a gig, and I was walking, I was outside, and some girl was standing next to me, and she goes, "Boy, it's a nice night, ain't it?" You know? And then I go, "Hannah?" She goes, "Hannah." She said, "Hannah."
Hannah. And you're
I
supposed
go,
to answer, "Ain't it?"
Well, I kind of, and right then I knew what she was saying. It's like, "Ain't it?" But Hannah. So it's like, "Ain't it?" Like, "Isn't it?" So I knew what it meant, you know, but just never heard that before.
Careful, you're going to be losing the Nanticoke crowd.
No.
Then, you know,
Or
then
I'm
she-
from
Down
Nanticoke.
the junction.
but then all of a
Yeah.
sudden she turns around, she says a couple utter two tree,
Couple,
couple
two tree,
two
something
tree
or
things,
other.
Tray, two
Yeah.
tray.
something or others, and everything and whatnot, and before you know it, the boat is. Ain't it or no?
I used to do a lot of pierogi jokes with our duo. Pierogi jokes, and you know.
We still do.
Yeah, we still do. Yeah.
Oh, people around here love pierogi
Yeah.
jokes.
But we'd always throw it like we put a twist on it. Like it would be like the Beatles. Like we'll play a Beatles song, and then we'll go, "They're originally from Nanticoke
Yeah, we'll tell
back
people
in the
that.
'40s," you know. And they'll go, they're
The British section.
Yeah, Ringo had a pierogi shop, and just
Yeah.
stuff like that. You know, it's silly.
Ringo,
Silly humor.
give me a couple, 2, 3 pierogies, ain't it or no? And everything's bloody too. Bloody pierogies. Give me a bloody pierogies. Give me some bleeding
Absolutely.
bloody pierogies. That's the Beatles using the Nanticoke. Sometimes we count off songs with the Nanticoke. I go, we're gonna count this off Nanticoke style. Couple, 2, 3, 4.
A lot of fun.
Gentlemen, are you guys ready?
Absolutely.
Let's hear you play some music, guys.
I'm
Hey,
done
listen,
being interviewed.
It was fun.
There's
I
one.
had a good time. You have fun? I had a good time.
Yeah, no, it was
Hope
absolutely
you all had
fun.
a good
Jody,
time,
want
you
to
know?
thank you so much for letting us
Yeah.
come
Hey
down
Jody,
here
I'll
and
tell
do
you, man.
Yeah.
Just like you, anybody who played music in for these past 40 years around here
Should be here.
We could do this for 10 hours and tell
Yeah,
stories.
we know.
I could tell you stories.
When the camera's off, we'll tell you some real stories.
Well, here's the thing. We're going to go do maybe a half hour's worth of music, and we're going to edit that and make other things. I can't thank you all enough for coming.
No, thanks for having us,
John,
brother.
Larry.
Thanks for
It's only been
inviting.
18 years.
Thank you,
there.
John.
Your family, man.
Yeah.
And Johnny B.
Johnny B.
Okay, we're gonna
Johnny
go to
B.
the other room.
Thanks, John.
Let's go to the other room. Let's go to the other room.
God.
Let's rock.